They always say that by the time a man reaches 50, the fire is gone. Desire replaced by duty. Passion buried under decades of responsibility. At least, that's what I used to believe. But I was wrong. So very wrong. Because my neighbor, a man in his 60s, with grey hair that shimmered like silver in the fading sun, proved to me that appearances can be deceiving. From the outside, he looked ordinary. A quiet family man. Reserved. Predictable. But every time his wife left town, every time that house grew silent, I noticed something. Something in his eyes. It wasn't just loneliness. It was a secret. And the more I tried to ignore it, the louder it became. Until curiosity, that dangerous, reckless thing, pushed me to his door one evening. And what I discovered changed everything. Most of my friends said the same thing. By the time a man hit his 50s, passion was behind him. Work, responsibility, family, those were all that mattered now. Romance, desire, adventure, those belonged to the young. I believed it. Why wouldn't I? It made sense. Life weighs heavy. Stress takes over. And in my mind, men of his age didn't chase sparks anymore. But my neighbor broke that idea in two. He lived right next door. His life looked simple, maybe even boring, from the outside. A wife who traveled often. A tidy porch. A man who waved politely when our paths crossed. That was it. Or, at least, that's what I thought. Because then I saw him one evening. He was sitting alone on his porch, the last orange light of sunset stretching across his face. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't frowning either. But his eyes, they told a story. They looked far away, heavy, like they were carrying something no one else could see. And in that moment, I realized something I shouldn't have. He was lonely. And loneliness is dangerous. I told myself it was nothing. Just a passing thought. But that night, lying in bed, I couldn't stop thinking about him. What was he like when the lights were off and the house was silent? What thoughts did he bury when his wife wasn't around? Was he as ordinary as he looked? Or was there something else hidden beneath that calm exterior? The days passed, and the more I tried to ignore him, the more I noticed. His glances weren't casual anymore. They lingered. The way his shoulders tensed when he saw me, the way his hand fidgeted at his collar, it was never loud, never obvious. But it was there. It was like watching a puzzle assemble itself one piece at a time. A look here. A pause there. A silence that seemed heavier than it should have been. Most people would have missed it. But not me. I'd always been able to read people, to catch the tiny details they tried to hide. And his details screamed one thing. He wanted more. But he didn't know how to say it. And the more I noticed, the more I realized something terrifying. I wanted to be the one to pull it out of him. The first time I truly felt it, it was a summer evening. I was walking past his house when he looked at me. Not a polite look. Not a neighborly nod. A gaze. Lingering. Searching. And in that silence, my chest tightened. It wasn't just my imagination. He saw me. And I couldn't look away. From that moment, it became a game. Every time I saw him, I caught pieces of him unraveling. The way his eyes darted toward me when his wife was gone. The way he lingered near his door as if waiting for something. Or someone. And that someone was me. It was dangerous, I knew. But curiosity is louder than reason. And so one evening, with my heart racing, I knocked on his door. When he opened it, I saw surprise in his face. But I also saw relief. Like he'd been waiting for this moment, even if he couldn't admit it. "I hope I'm not disturbing you," I said softly. His eyes lingered a little too long before he answered. "No, not at all." And just like that, I stepped into his world. His home was neat. Warm. Not extravagant, but comfortable. He invited me to sit, and before I could even catch my breath, he returned with a plate of food. "You cooked this?" I asked, genuinely surprised. He gave a shy smile. "I had to learn. My wife's away a lot, so I manage." There was pride in his tone, but also a shadow. Cooking wasn't just a skill for him. It was survival. It was how he kept the silence from swallowing him whole. I tasted the food, and it was good. Shockingly good. But it wasn't the flavor that lingered. It was his eyes, watching me carefully, searching for something unspoken. "How did you know I was lonely?" he asked suddenly. The question cut through the air like a knife. I froze. Then smiled softly. "I just knew." He didn't speak for a moment. Then he sighed, a deep, weary sound, and whispered, "I've been alone too often. Especially when she isn't here. And I need someone." His honesty startled me. It wasn't lust. It was vulnerability. And in that moment, I realized I wasn't just curious anymore. I wanted to give him what he was missing. "Come with me," he said, rising to his feet. His voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed a storm. He gestured toward the hallway. I hesitated. Every rational thought told me to turn back, to leave. But my heart, it beat louder than reason. I followed. In the quiet of his room, the tension broke. He wasn't rough. He wasn't careless. He was gentle. Intentional. And in his touch, I didn't just feel passion. I felt decades of restraint breaking open. A hunger buried under years of silence, now spilling into the air between us. It wasn't wild. It wasn't reckless. It was controlled, measured, powerful. And it terrified me how much I wanted it. For a man in his 60s, he was steady, patient, and more alive than men half his age. Every glance, every word, every touch carried meaning. It wasn't just an encounter. It was a confession. And as I lay there beside him, his breathing heavy and his gaze soft, I realized something. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Because once you open the door to someone's loneliness, you can never close it again. They told me men lose their fire after 50. That their passion fades, their desire dies. But I learned the truth. Desire doesn't disappear. It hides. Waiting. And sometimes, all it takes is one moment, one glance, one decision, to set it free. And when it does, you'll never look at them the same way again.